Good day, it's January 19th, 2026. Americans, especially in the state of Michigan, are still mourning in anger about the killing of an unarmed motorist, Renee Good, by ICE agent Jonathan Ross. As to add to everyone's anguish is the refusal of the Trump administration's FBI and Pam Bondi's Justice Department to investigate the killing. The state of Michigan was barred access to the crime scene and evidence. But the viral video of the killing that has been viewed millions of times worldwide, here's the video of that event that has been told differently on the government's version, which in contrast to what local officials see of the incident. If you haven't seen yet the viral video, watch this. You can have your own opinion or discussion what the truth is. A week after the killing of Renee Good, the entire leadership of the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division resigned in protest for not being allowed to investigate the incident in Michigan involving ICE agent Jonathan Ross. Also, 5 U.S. prosecutors in Michigan resigned after being told to investigate the surviving wife of Renee Good instead of the shooter, Jonathan Ross. The survivors of Renee Good still have not filed a civil case against Jonathan Ross and the Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials as of this report, but many lawyers anticipate the wrongful death lawsuit will eventually come and the plaintiffs can subpoena all records and depose all agents and officials at ICE.
Last week, we reported that the acting U.S. Attorney for Eastern District of Virginia was ordered by a Trump-appointed U.S. District Judge, David Novak, to explain in writing with disciplinary threat why she is still signing her name as U.S. Attorney for East Virginia, when in the earlier weeks, Lindsay Halligan was ruled by federal judge Cameron McGowan Curry as acting unlawfully as chief prosecutor in Eastern Virginia. The decision by Judge Curry led to the dismissal by another federal judge on the cases filed against former FBI Director James Comey and New York State Attorney General Letitia James. So, Monday last week, Lindsay Halligan and the Justice Department filed their response. In the several pages response signed by Attorney General Pam Bondi, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, Lindsay Halligan, and 2 other DOJ lawyers said that Judge Curry's decision only applied in the James Comey case and that Judge Novak was wrong about a binding decision by another judge. That's Judge Curry in South Carolina. The response was filed by Lindsay Halligan and 4 more officials at DOJ. Lawyers for the defendant in the case filed by Lindsay Halligan were given 3 days to respond to DOJ's response, and any rebuttal to the response must be answered 2 days later. So right now, this is undergoing a back and forth argument between DOJ and the other party.
The shooting in Michigan has created a House of Representatives more opposition for more funding for ICE, a division under the Department of Homeland Security. Even Republican Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina, a high-ranking member in the Republican Party, said he is not holding any more hearing on funding for the Department of Homeland Security until DHS Secretary Kristi Noem appears in the Senate Government Oversight Committee. Other House members were loud in criticizing ICE as an agency with zero accountability and should not be funded, let alone increase its funding. In a report from Al Jazeera, the protest in Iran that began on the last week of December, that by the end of last week already 2,571 had been killed, according to human rights groups inside Iran. Of that number, more than 150 were police and Revolutionary Guard. More than 10,000 people, according to estimates by sources inside Iran, had been arrested. The protest that began peacefully in Tehran was to voice out the people's discontent of the skyrocketing inflation and prices hardly affordable to ordinary citizens. The massive protest broke out in all cities around the country and had in several cases turned out violent as security forces tried to break out peaceful protest and started arresting protesters. President Donald Trump's rhetoric that encouraged the protesters, promising support, aggravated the response from the Islamic clerics who ran the country and labeling protesters as saboteurs and promising to charge them with crimes against God that carries death penalty. A 26-year-old who was arrested was hanged last week that others described as the Islamic State showing its power and control of the people by setting an example. A high-ranking judge in Iran promised to put on capital punishment trials on all that were arrested. Amnesty International had asked the Iranian government not to execute the 26-year-old and the others who will be tried. Because the internet service in Iran was cut off, foreign media could not verify anything from independent sources except footage uploaded by Iranians on the platform for those who have access to Starlink, which was declared illegal by the Iranian government. There were 22 Filipino overseas workers in Iran that asked the assistance of the Philippine Embassy in Iran for repatriation owing to the deteriorating situation. As of last week, 4 had already arrived in the Philippines, according to OWA, the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration. We will update you here at The Pulse as things in Iran develops. Stay tuned for the interview of congressional candidate James Lally when we return after a commercial break.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
Welcome back to The Pulse. With us now at our Film TV studios is Dr. James Lally, running for Congress in the 3rd Congressional District in the Democratic primary. Dr. Lally, welcome to The Pulse.
Hi, thanks for having me today. It's great to be here with all you. And hello to everyone out there in the Filipino American community here in Las Vegas, which is such a big and important part of our city.
First off, please tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
I was born and raised in Pennsylvania. I'm from Philadelphia originally. I went to school there, grew up there. I did my med school. I'm a cardiologist. I did my med school in Philadelphia. I also did my cardiology training in Philadelphia. When I was done my training in cardiology, I decided I wanted to move west. I wanted to move somewhere where it was warm and there were mountains. And Las Vegas seemed perfect for that. So I moved out here in 2008, and I still love it here. So since 2008, I've been with the Heart Center of Nevada. We're a cardiology practice. We have offices all over town. When I first started here in Las Vegas in 2008, I was at Valley Hospital. I was at Valley Hospital from 2008 to 2012. Since 2012, I've been up at Centennial Hills Hospital. So pretty much every day now, I'm at Centennial Hills Hospital, taking care of patients on the west side of town.
Well, thank you for joining us here in Las Vegas. Most of us here are transplant from other cities, so that's why the community is growing.
Right. And what made you decide to primary the incumbent, Representative Susie Lee? And when did you decide to do so?
I decided to do so last spring, and it was really about the genocide in Gaza. I'm Irish American. Ireland and the Irish people, we have deep sympathy for the plight of the Palestinians. Ireland was colonized for hundreds of years and harshly oppressed, just as Palestine is colonized, harshly oppressed now. Ireland and Irish people have deep sympathy for this. Ireland has also led the world in speaking out against the ethnic slaughter in Gaza. Ireland's paid a price for this, however. AIPAC, which is the far-right aligned Israeli lobby in the U.S., AIPAC-aligned Republicans and Democrats in Congress have come out harshly against Ireland, of all places, calling it filled with hate for speaking out against the ethnic slaughter and state-sponsored starvation in Palestine. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to speak out. My opponent in this race, Susie Lee, she's taken over $600,000 from AIPAC. AIPAC's stance is Israel can do whatever it wants to do in Gaza and to the Palestinians. And most people think this is not right. With Susie Lee, when AIPAC says jump, she says how high. She's bought and paid for by AIPAC. But that's not the only reason I've been in this race. It's also about other issues affecting Nevadans as well. We see all the time cost of living issues. And it really is, corporate America is price gouging everywhere we turn. We see too many politicians taking money from everywhere and anywhere. We'll see them taking money from defense contractors, insurance companies, and Susie Lee, she's taken money even from Elon Musk and SpaceX. We need representatives who will be responsible to the people and their concerns about cost of living. I don't know how you can be concerned about cost of living if you're bought and paid for by corporate America. Other issues as well that we need to address is many Democrats in Congress voted for the Laken-Riley Act, which has enabled Donald Trump's ICE goon squad to disappear immigrants without due process, including U.S. citizens. People wanted border control, but they didn't want this. We need to step up against this. There's also Susie Lee refuses to stand up against Donald Trump's MAGA cult. She seems to think that trying to appease them with our bipartisan approach will make things better. But my feeling is the Republican Party, the way they are, this is not a normal party. We can't hope to appease them, hope they'll come back to their senses. We need to stand up against MAGA to get this country back to the way it used to be before Trump and MAGA took over.
It's good to hear that. We basically here at the Pulse, every other week we would run stories on what was happening in Gaza. And I don't see any other Filipino American media running stories of what's happening in Gaza. But it was really important that, for Filipinos to know what is going on out there. And it's like for a Christian nation, as Philippines would say, to have no reaction or no compassion about what's happening with Gaza, I'm with you in those issues. So thank you for letting us know where you stand on things. That was actually the answer to my second question. My question was on the on the Gaza, as
Exactly.
one of your platforms, as was about Gaza.
Yeah, I think we can do more in Congress to stand up against this. The way things are right now, it seems like we've given Israel a blank check to do whatever they want in Gaza.
Sure.
Since the war in Gaza started, the U.S. has sent $20 billion in aid to Gaza. This goes along with the affordability crisis, too. We have cost of living issues here, and we're sending $20 billion to Israel. This could be money that could be used here to build bridges, to build roads, to help with the cost of living, rather than sending it over to Israel. Also, I'm not sure if we even need to be sending money at all to Israel, but if we are going to be sending money to Israel, it has to be with conditions. They can't be using this money to conduct war crimes in Gaza.
Yes, there was actually the my follow-up question, you already answered it, like what you can do if you're elected to Congress.
Let's talk about affordability, Dr. Lally, which is one of the things Democrats like you are on. And talking to people in your district, what have you found out about their situation?
I think affordability is an issue here. It's an issue all across the country as well. And it comes down to, the main point is that the cost of living has gone up. Wages have not gone up with this. So it's made a big disconnect in the economy for most everyday Americans. One of the things we can do to help with this, we can raise the minimum wage. Minimum wage in Nevada is currently $12 an hour. There have been places such as California, with their fast food workers, they've raised minimum wage there to $20 an hour. The thought was, if fast food workers are paid this much, the fast food places will go out of business. This didn't happen. The fast food places were fine. And people were able to make enough money to provide for themselves, to provide food, to provide for their families. They had a living wage. We need to do more with that. There's also the issue on affordability. There's too much price gouging going on with corporate America. Corporate America, they're taking money from us at every turn. We see this at the supermarket. After COVID, prices of everything went up after that, and they never came back down. We still see high prices at the supermarket. We need to hold corporate America responsible for that. We see it with our electric bill too. Electric bills have gone up here for unclear reasons. They shouldn't keep going up and up like this. It's harder and harder for people to pay these. We see it with other things as well, such as the cost of our TV. In the past, you used to be able to just pay one cable bill for TV.
Right.
Now you have 3 or 4 streaming services. And that's where corporate America gets people. They're gouging them everywhere. But it's not just about the corporate America gouging people. It's about corporate America. They're not paying their workers enough either. Corporate America doesn't want to pay its employees. There's been a lot of people that have been saying recently, we need to bring more good-paying union jobs to Nevada. This is true. We do need good jobs here. The reality is, though, most people that are here, they already have jobs. And the people the jobs they're in, these jobs need to pay more. We need to hold corporate America responsible so they're paying people more in the jobs that they're in. We also see this as well. Corporate America, there's too much of an inequality in the pay scale. Some people have suggested if there's corporations, if they have an average 50 to 1, the CEO pay versus the average worker pay more than 50 to 1, we could tax corporations on this. This is one way to go about it. Elon Musk getting his $1 trillion pay package from Tesla. This is out of control. We need to stop this cult of the CEO.
Yes.
Some other things we can do too. We need to stand strong for labor rights, stand strong for union rights. We need to enforce antitrust laws and break up monopolies too.
I would agree with that. It's like the most recent of which was the monopoly of the streaming services, Paramount.
I was just thinking of that.
It never
Swallowing
ends.
and
It never
all the
ends,
others,
and
But I said under normal administration, there would already have been a lawsuit on filed by the Justice Department to, antitrust lawsuits,
Yeah.
But, it's like big mergers like this or, hostile takeovers. Yes. The consumers are the one paying for it. Dr. Lally is right. It's
Yeah,
just
you're
never
right.
ends where, the cost going up. Yesterday, in relation to the wages, MAGA Mike Johnson, the speaker, put a bill for a vote on the floor, which was to make it that businesses, big corporations can just tell people to go on a training overtime without pay. Well, luckily, about 6 Republicans voted with the Democrats to kill the bill. Would you like to work, for a training and not get paid for it? It's just insane what these people could think of.
What other issues, Dr. Lally, in your district or Nevada is important to you to work on? And if you are in Congress, what do you think?
I think one of the main issues people have talked about here is the cost of housing and actually having housing here. There's been a lot of talk recently about cutting down on the corporate ownership of housing. There was recently a bill in the Nevada legislature where corporations would be restricted to buying 1,000 units of houses or less a year. It was actually vetoed in the Nevada legislature by Governor Joe Lombardo. There have been other issues too other bills about cutting down on the corporate ownership of houses. This may help some at the margins, but I don't think it's getting to the root problem of the cause. I think the real problem is what a lot of people have said, there's not enough houses in Nevada. Some estimates have said we have a deficit of about 70,000 houses from where we need to be. So there's a couple things we can do to make that better. The first thing we need to do, we need to get more land from the government, from federal government, to build houses on. Other things we can do, if we build houses on smaller plots and have smaller homes, this is going to cost less. It's going to be more affordable. We need to zone for multifamily units, and we also need to make it easier to cut the red tape to getting houses built. We also need to stand up for tenant rights. Our people who are renting houses, they cannot be abused by the landlords. We cannot let that happen. One of the other issues, of course, that affects Nevadans and affects people all over America is the crisis of the affordability of healthcare and access to healthcare too.
Yes.
Exactly.
I know that most people say across America, we should be able to have affordable healthcare at a reasonable cost. Everyone should have it. And no one should go bankrupt because they got sick. When I first moved to Nevada in 2008, the uninsured rates here were around 17%. And in 2014, Affordable Care Act, Medicaid expansion was brought to Nevada. That cut our uninsured rates to 7%. So that was a step in the right direction. But we need to do more to get everyone covered, whether that be expanding Medicare to have more people or everyone involved with that, or expanding the Affordable Care Act again. We were working in that direction toward getting everyone covered. It seems, though, that while the Medicaid expansion, the Affordable Care Act, it did get more people covered, it really hasn't done a lot to bring costs down. And I think a lot of that is because corporate America has taken over the American healthcare system, like corporate America has taken over so much of America. One of the things we talk about, or people talk about all the time, is that the insurance companies, they're price gouging people everywhere. People pay their insurance, but they're not getting great care. Procedures are denied, and the insurance companies, they're more concerned about making a buck than taking care of patients. We definitely need to hold insurance companies accountable for this. But it's not just the insurance companies in the corporate America that are taking control of the healthcare system. It's many other things as well. Among these as well is the hospitals as well. Most hospitals in America now, they're for-profit. For-profit hospitals, their main issue is, and their main concern is, they want to make money, they want to increase their stock prices, they want to have CEO bonuses. They're not putting their patients first, they're not putting their workers first, and they're not putting their communities first either. We need to stand up against this. We see corporate control of drug companies too, drug companies as well. They're more concerned with making a profit rather than having patients get drugs at a reasonable price. We've seen some benefit with Medicare being able to price things and get costs at a lower price. That's helped some. But it seems that people in other countries, they get medicines for a lower price and we pay so much for it. It seems like we're subsidizing healthcare and we're subsidizing these medicines for people in other countries.
That's right.
We need to make that stop. And another thing people don't realize about the healthcare system is that it used to be in the past, you could be in practice, a solo practice for a physician or private practice with a group. It's getting harder and harder to do that in America. It turns out about 80% of physicians now, they're actually employees of corporate healthcare. So either they're employees of a hospital, they're employees of an insurance company or some other corporate entity. And when that happens, it's harder for physicians and doctors to be accountable to patients. Doctors, we want to put our patients first, but corporate America, they say our main issue is we want to extract money from the system. We want to increase our stock prices, and we want CEO bonuses. So they're not putting patients first. So across all these issues, with the health insurances, with the hospitals, with the drug companies, and with physicians being controlled by corporate America, we need lots of changes. It's really that changes that are going to bring costs down here in America.
I agree with you on that issue. You see, it's like with the proliferation of a big chunk of Medicare and Medicaid being awarded to HMOs, you know, those gatekeepers, they don't care. They get the money, but they care very little for the real healthcare need of their members who signed up in those HMOs.
That's exactly it. Got more people covered, but it really didn't do enough to bring price down, and that's what we need to be focusing more on that now too, getting people covered and bringing prices down.
Yeah. The primary and the Democratic side, there are three of you, and it's actually worse on the Republican side. There are like 6 or 7 now that are vying for the 3rd Congressional District. Dr. Lally, how are you reaching out to your voters in your district?
So my team and I, we're out there every day talking to people. We're out there knocking doors. We're making phone calls. We're texting people. We're talking to everyone in the community up there. I'm out there shaking hands. I'm not out there though kissing babies though. I'll acknowledge the babies, but I'm not kissing.
You're
the
on my
babies.
Instagram.
But most importantly, we're out there, we're listening to voters. We're listening to people in Las Vegas and asking them, what's important to you? And what do you think we can do to make life better here in Las Vegas and Nevada in general?
So, last words from you, Dr. Lally?
Oh,
Yeah,
feel
I
free
would
to
say-
pitch, you know.
Please.
I would say this. My talking points, they're going to be the same as Pope Leo. One, there's too much economic inequality here in Nevada and in America in general. We can't have an economy where Elon Musk is getting $1 trillion pay package and average Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. The only way we can stop this, we need to stand up against the billionaire class and corporate America. Two, we need to show compassion towards immigrants. Most people do want border control, and they realize we do need strong borders. We cannot let everyone in. At the same time, most people do not want Trump's ICE goon squad rampaging through the streets, terrorizing people. We need to stop this. And three, as Pope Leo has said multiple times, the only solution to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and Palestine is the two-state solution, an Israeli state and a Palestinian state living side by side. Only America can make this happen, and America needs to make this happen, whether Israel or Benjamin Netanyahu want it or not.
Dr. James Lally, a cardiologist running for Congress in District 3, thank you for talking to us today.
Thanks so
And,
much for having me today. It was
good
nice to
luck
be
on
here.
your race.
Thank
You're
you.
very welcome. We will leave it at that as we are out of time for this broadcast. I'm Sam Buban. Thank you for watching.
And I'm Jessica Rolla. Thank you for watching, and God bless your week.